Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runner mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Chill Bill Smith.
What's going on, Omari? Thank you so much for having me back. I love doing this thing that we're doing. Particularly this little, I don't know, what are you setting up here? There's been a theme. There's been an undercover theme. I'm not blind.
Yeah, well, this guy hasn't seen where we trade things back and forth that one guy's seen and the other hasn't. And yeah, there's been a little bit of a theme on this show, For those of you, it's your first time. We're trading movies back and forth, kind of like a little movie club, or sometimes TV shows and animes and whatnot. And Bill's seen a lot more films than I have, because generally, though I am a film enthusiast myself, I play a lot of video games, especially ones of a certain genre, usually involving fists and kicks and whatnot. And that's, they're fighting game genres. And so going through this, some of the things I've been doing, I've been kind of having a theme where it's happened a few times now, where I'm taking movies from like just about each of your like big series and throwing them in here to kind of keep spreading the lore and story of these things. So I've done Street Fighter before, we did Fatal Fury, and now we're thrown in Tekken, the animated picture from the 90s. And yeah, all of these end up being the 90s movies too. That's just how it ends up being so far. It's like, do they have more modern versions of these movies that probably are out there and that are better? Maybe. But I'm showing the 90s ones for now. And this one's no different.
Tekken, the motion picture from 1998. Yes. Well, I for a second I questioned if, because IMDb technically has it listed as a TV series, even though it would only be a single episode. And it's called Tekken, the motion picture. Tekken, the motion picture from 1998. A wealthy mogul organizes a world fighting tournament on an offshore Chinese island. His hated son, in search for vengeance, and a pair of cops investigating the real reason for holding the tournament, secretly join the fighters. It stars lots of folks.
Lots of folks. It stars lots of 90s voice actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we watched the dub on this one because, if I watched it in the 90s, or not if, but when I watched it in the 90s, it would have been in the English dub.
And it's readily available for free on YouTube.
Also true. So we watched it. We watched that. And pretty short too. But yeah, so Bill, you hadn't seen it. I know you know a little bit about Tekken. I'm pretty sure we've played it in the past.
Yeah, I've played Tekken, but I don't know Tekken.
Okay.
I couldn't really quote you anybody's names in particular. When some started to get said, I could tell you them. I think I could King. I could tell you King. But the individual, more main characters and protagonists of the game didn't really remember them. I remember I like the character that has the flipping bicycle kick, the back
Bruce
flipping
Lee
bicycle kick.
Law.
If that's the one that had the back flipping bicycle kick, because I used to spam that too much.
Yeah, if it was spammable, then it was I'm saying, was he like Bruce Lee?
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying is I don't.
Okay.
What I remember is that he had a backflipping bicycle kick.
It's probably law.
Okay. And so yeah, beyond that, I don't know Tekken at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, so fair enough. Tekken has always been one of my favorite fighting game series, despite the fact that it's not one of the ones it's not the one I play the most. It's weird. At least nowadays, it's not the one I play the most. I've become more of a Street Fighter as I've gotten older, but I still enter Tekken tournaments. I still have bought every numbered Tekken, much like another fighting game series that we may reference sometime down here. I've owned every numbered Tekken. The new one that just came out, 8, no different. I bought that one when it came out and am enjoying it. As far as the story, when I was a kid, it was one of the first fighting game series that, at least the in-game story, intrigued me. Like, oh, these games can actually have a deeper story in between games. I didn't go into the deep lore back then, and by the time, because I ended up doing that with like Soul Calibur, which is also by Namco and a 3D fighting game, and had better resources in game to talk about the story than Tekken did. Yeah. But it was one of the first series that helped get me into fighting games, because I think it was Tekken 3 was the main selling point for me. Tekken 1 or 2, I might have played them once or twice before 3 came out, but 3 made me go back to 1 and 2.
Right on.
Yeah, this movie is more... I think it's more based on the story of the first game, but they threw in a lot of characters that show up in the second game that would have had no reason to not be in the first game, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But it's also really short, so much like the Street Fighter movie from the 90s, we got some beats we're trying to hit. Oh, you like this character? There they are, going on. But anyway,
say goodbye.
What are you getting into the movies? Let's go ahead and hop into it. Let's get into some of these initial reactions. What are you thinking?
So it's going off. It starts up super dramatic narrator in the opening here. Crazy dramatic. That's essentially just like, dudes need to fucking fight. They're gonna fight because we need to fight.
Pretty much.
Don't tell me not to fight because I'm gonna fight.
Since the dawn of man, they have fought with God for glory.
Yeah, man, it's super dramatic.
Yeah, but then we got the fucking kid Kazuya and June. Kazuya Mishiba, the main protagonist of our Tekken series. He's the Anakin Skywalker of Tekken.
Okay,
he's the guy, the protagonist turned villain. Turned like protagonist.
Okay, interesting.
The Mishimas are your Skywalkers in the Tekken universe. They're the only family that really matters, and everyone else is dealing with the consequences of them dealing with each other.
Okay.
As far as the Tekken series goes.
Perfect. No, because I don't know. Like, I don't know any of this.
But yeah, I think
because this dude doesn't exactly feel like. That's why I said okay, because he doesn't exactly feel like a protagonist.
Well, the first game. Well, that's because, like I said, they took some ideals from 2 and stuff and mixed it in with this first game. But the first game idea is. Evil Heihachi Mishima runs a conglomerate. Heihachi, bald dude, hairstyle, poster man. Yeah. He has this thing. His son Kazuya is here to overthrow him. Because back in the day, his dad was, and he wants revenge. Because his dad was, he's kind of like an anti-hero, but he was the protagonist, he's the main character. You got to take down evil dad. Because much like in this movie, when Kazuya was a kid, and those eyebrows, by the way, fucking hilarious. When Kazuya was a kid, his dad, to make him stronger, did the Japanese anime tradition of old man throws kid into ravine, climb up and you'll be stronger. It happens in so many animes. And it is just a thing that if you were ignorant, you would think this is actually part of the custom over there. That's how often it happens. But he throws Kazuya into a ravine. Kazuya climbs back, swearing revenge. In the second game, fucking Kazuya,
he basically sells his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Is that what has happened?
To get revenge or whatever. I guess in the 90s, that kind of was where they were going with it. Was him selling his soul to the devil. Later in the game series, turns out there's a devil gene in the Mishima family. As Kazuya's son, who gets revealed at the end of this thing, and the protagonist of 3. So yeah, quick 2-sentence thing for each game. Tekken 1, Kazuya overthrows dad for, revenge / get rid of evil dad. Tekken 2, surprise, I take my dad's corporation and I say, fuck it. After getting vengeance, I'm selling my soul completely to the devil and I'm evil now. Instead switching to the dark side where I'm like, he's the Anakin because he goes back and forth. Right. And now you're Heihachi, who at the end of the first game got thrown into a ravine by Kazuya because turnabout's fair play, climbs his ass up, and now he's got to take down Kazuya. Heihachi wins and throws Kazuya into a volcano. In the meantime, Kazuya met this lady June, who helped him fight against the devil in his heart and, found the good in him. And they have a kid named Jin, who's the protagonist of 3. Taking down evil granddad Heihachi, and some creature named Ogre shows up and is the boss of that because reasons. Eventually, Jin reveals that he's got devil wings and devil powers too. Heihachi shoots him in the head and throws him off a helicopter. Jin survives. Tekken 4. Someone survives being in a volcano because his company took him out and helped resurrect him back to being healed. It's Kazuya Mishima. He's back for revenge against Heihachi. Jin's here too, and he's like, fuck you, dad. You abandoned me and mom because you were evil. I don't like you, and I don't like granddad either. So now the Mishimas are doing their thing. Whole bunch of other side stories happening. At the end of the day, it ends with a big showdown between the 3 of them. Jin eventually gets the upper hand and leaves after turning into the devil form and flying away. Heihachi and Kazuya are left there to try and settle their differences once and for all. Entered the intro to Tekken 5 / ending of Tekken 4. Bunch of those Jack robots, the big robot with the mohawk. Bunch of those come in, attack them. Really cool opening intro to Tekken 5. Eventually they're getting swarmed. Kazuya says, you know what? Fuck this. I don't like you anyway, Dad. It was a cool back-to-back Mishima father-son fight. But he says, you know what? Fuck you. I'm the devil. I can do what I want. Throws Heihachi, a bunch of jacks dogpile him and explode as Kazuya flies away in his devil form. Some black dude goes, Heihachi Mishima is dead. Spoilers, Heihachi Mishima didn't die. Because Heihachi Mishima, though it's never confirmed that he has a devil gene at this point, he's no ordinary man. And that's the only explanation you'll get as to why this motherfucker never dies, is that he's no ordinary man. But Heihachi lives. It turns out they got a granddad, Jinpachi Mishima. He's got some evil shit. They gotta beat him. Tekken 5 ends with Jinpachi dying because reasons. Tekken 6. Jin hates his dad, Kazuya, and his granddad, Heihachi. Also, he wants to beat the super duper devil thing. This thing named Azazel. Sorry. TV turned off. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He beat the super demon Azazel after starting World War III. The world gets really fucked up because the Mishimas are just doing Mishima shit. But it ends up being, Kazuya versus versus Jin and shit. I don't even remember who fucking wins, but they beat the Super Devil Azazel. Meanwhile, we get to Tekken 7. Oh, also, it's revealed Heihachi has a bastard son named Lars, who's like the protagonist of Tekken 6, trying to deal with all this shit because Heihachi got around. Okay. Tekken 7, it's revealed that the devil gene of the Mishima family does not have anything to do with the Mishima side, Heihachi. It actually came from his wife, who gets revealed in that game, Kasumi. And she hires Akuma from Street Fighter to kill Heihachi. Literal Akuma from Street Fighter is a canon Tekken character because he has some past with Kasumi and he's here to kill Heihachi. Eventually, the story climaxes in a volcano, Kazuya versus Heihachi. This time, Kazuya puts Heihachi in the volcano. And Heihachi Mishima is dead. Tekken 8, Kazuya versus Jin. Let's solve this. You can play the story for yourself. But that's what I mean by that's the main overarching story for each game. Is these motherfuckers kill each other and probably throw each other into a volcano.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Just so you get an idea of the
this
title.
one is just Heihachi and Kazuya.
Yeah. Heihachi and Kazuya.
I think as soon as you said Jin, I feel like you were right. It is my go-tos were Jin and Law, and Tekken 3 was probably the one that I played the most.
Yeah. Yeah, they would have both been in that one. So yeah, but pretty much this movie just kind of dealing with its own version of the story of the first game, but like I said, throwing in characters that show up in 2 and 3, like your Dr. Boskanoviches, your Armor King was kind of in the first one, but I think Lei Wulong, who we fast forward a bit because Heihachi throws Kazuya in a ravine. We fast forward, Jun Kazama, the girl that was with Kazuya earlier in the movie, and Jin's mom. Jun, she's become, I think she became a cop or something too, because she's working with the cop, or she's just doing something. Either way, she's trying to investigate the Mishima conglomerate while she's having nightmares about seeing Kazuya get thrown off a cliff by his granddad. Because, I mean, that would be a traumatizing experience. Some kid's like, I'll get revenge on you for the bunny rabbit getting killed by the bobcat. You don't need to. Son, stop being a little bitch.
Yeah. I mean, we find out later that she as a little girl climbed down that cliff and searched for him like all day.
Yeah,
and couldn't find him.
Yeah,
but yeah, it had to have been absolutely traumatizing.
Yeah, so, but she gets to go to some King of Iron Fist tournament on some island being thrown by Heihachi. Heihachi, I think, just trying to get his son Kazuya to come to him.
That's my second note. $1 billion? $1 billion?
That man's got money.
Hey, come over and fight me at my house, and you can beat me. $1 billion. Damn.
Heihachi don't mess around. But yeah, whatever. So she meets Lei Wulong, who's super sexist, but but he's a cop, Interpol cop, because every fighting game series got to have one to infiltrate the tournament. And so they're the little duo. They're the Chun-Li Guile duo of this movie, like the Street Fighter one had. Like, well, I guess we both got to work against the super boss, even though we don't necessarily get along early on. They go over to the island. Meanwhile, we have a subplot involving Heihachi's adopted son, Li Xiaolan, a character introduced in 2, who doesn't like Kazuya because Kazuya's Heihachi's legitimate son, and Heihachi clearly treats Lee like an adopted son who is inferior to his legitimate son.
And he's a little bitch.
And Lee's a little bitch. Yes. Who's dating both Williams sisters in this one? He's like cheating on Nina with Anna.
I don't know. All the ladies are drawn almost identical to my eyeballs.
Okay.
It's such a struggle for me.
So
like I can
chick,
usually spot who June is.
Yeah,
but then
she has the headband. But yeah. So blonde chick and chick in a red dress, Nina and Anna are sisters. Okay. Throughout the Tekken series, their whole thing is they want to kill each other. And Nina's been around since the first game. Like, she's been in every Tekken. She's one of the 4, well, now 3 characters that have been in every single Tekken, at least, and been the same person and not somebody else using that character's name. Otherwise, Law, King, and Kuma would count, but they don't because there are other people using those names. But Nina's been in every game.
What?
King's a pro wrestler.
Okay.
He's a pro wrestler. He's a Mexican.
Is that a mask?
Yes. He's a pro wrestler from Mexico.
Do they really depict it like it's a mask? I mean, it's depicted as if that's a fucking tiger head, right?
He doesn't move the mouth or nothing, but he'll growl and stuff. He's very dedicated to his character.
Okay.
He speaks and growls, but he's a person and it's a mask. It's a jaguar mask. They say in the story that it's a mask
because we get a flash of him in this movie too.
Yeah,
and I even think
Armor King, who is also another luchador in a mask and like King's rival in the Mexican luchador scene. But the King from Tekken 1 and 2 dies, and from 3 onwards,
takes the King mantle.
Yeah, there's a time skip between 2 and 3 because Jin needs to be both born and become a teenager.
Right.
The only reason Nina and Anna get to stay looking as young as they do, despite said time skip, is because Nina gets cryogenically frozen for reasons, and then Anna says, "Well, fuck that bitch! I'm not gonna let you escape to the future being cryogenically frozen. I'm getting cryogenically frozen too, so I can kill you when we wake up." And they continue. Anna we mentioned a bunch of stuff. It's an hour long, whatever. The bottom line is Anna uses a bazooka in this movie. She often shoots at Nina with bazookas in these games. Like, they're actively trying to kill each other in every game. That's their through line. They don't like each other. Nina went to a wedding and Anna showed up and blew it up. Hi, Tekken 6. But their rivalry ain't a forever rivalry in this movie. Anyway, but that's one of the through line plot lines. But yeah, also they're both trying to kill Kazuya for Lee so that he can inherit the Zaibatsu or conglomerate to himself. Yeah. So that was an interesting take on the movie. But yeah, as we go through it, they eventually get on a boat to go over. They come across Jack, who's got a little girl with him. Jack's a fucking robot that, clearly based off of like your Schwarzenegger types. Yeah. Well, he's literally a human cyborg, so I guess, yeah, based off fucking Terminator. Yeah, but he's got a little girl with him that he found because of some emotion protocol that activated when he saw her, because the guy who designed him, Dr. Boskanovich, didn't want his robots killing innocent kids if he could help it. So if something would trigger an emotional response in a person, it would trigger that in the robot and they wouldn't kill the kid. And that's what happened, and this is the one Jack that actually followed that protocol, so it seems, because let me tell you, no other ones do. Okay. But even in the game series, there is a particular Jack robot. I think from Tekken 3 onwards, that gun Jack has a relationship with a kid that it's trying to save, and then it dies, and then she grows up to be a scientist so she can work on him and revive him as her robot daddy thing. It's actually kind of a little cool. There's a lot of cool little mini stories, obviously. The bottom line is he's got this in this movie. We get a cameo.
Who is the dude that he absolutely mops the floor with? Is that a person?
The black dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say.
A character
I was going to
game?
say, poor Bruce Irvin makes an appearance.
Okay.
I think he showed up in 2. But so I guess they were like, you can't be we're going to mention you. Because I think Tekken 3 had already come out by this. If this is at 98. Tekken 3 had already came out, but they're kind of just trying to do the first movie or first game story, but they want cameos from everybody. So they're like, yeah, here's your Bruce cameo, guys, but he really wasn't involved in Tekken 1, and he doesn't know he's fighting a fucking robot, so we're just gonna have him break his fist and get bodied. But at least he doesn't have weird eyes like Balrog. At least they didn't do him like they did Balrog in the Street Fighter movie. So, but Bruce gets bodied, and then they go over to the island. Then we see a lot of characters, and you get your hopes up. It's like, that's Yoshimitsu in the background. Another one of those 3. The 3 characters that have been in every game now are Nina, Yoshimitsu, and Paul. Yoshimitsu and Paul don't get to do anything but stand there this movie. They congrats. That's all they really get to do. But we see them on the boat, so it's like cool. King doesn't really get to do anything either. Even in the montage that they had, because eventually they get there, Heihachi's like, tournament, come fight me. And Lee's like, I have secret plans. But we get a montage of folks fighting. And eventually they're like, okay, fast forward. You saw you saw the sumo guy lose. You got to, which is Ganryu. You saw him lose to Michelle Chang, who later from Tekken 3 and onward is replaced by her daughter Julia Chang. She is in this movie wanting revenge, Native American girl. Like, Heihachi burned down my whole village. Crazy shit. Kazuya just says, I don't care. My story's more important. I'm the main character, and beats her.
Bro, almost kills her. Literally is like,
her.
I'm gonna kill that dude, and you'll get your satisfaction. Unfortunately, it will be in heaven.
He's like, but wait, in heaven. And Jude stops him like, okay, because she sees the inner good child that wanted to kill the bobcat for her, that killed her pet rabbit or whatever, and she's like, I still see the good in you. You don't need to go down revenge. Nah, fuck that motherfucker Heihachi. I sold my soul to the devil to do that. And you saw she would see images of him with like a blue eye and purple, or third eye and purple skin and shit. Yeah. From Tekken 2, Devil. From Tekken 2 and onward, the devil's shit has been involved with Kazuya and them. That was their nods to it in this. But
they're I feel like they're hoping for sequels. Did that not happen?
I don't think for that particular one. I don't think so. Okay. But there's a thing, Tekken Bloodlines, that came out a few years ago that's more into depth, of more involved with what the story ended up being.
Okay.
But I hadn't seen all of that, so I didn't put it in here. And also, I'd already done 90s shit for the other movies, so I'm like, let's keep that going. But yeah, anyway, Kazuya and Jun have a talk, but they get attacked by invisible dinosaurs because
around the what was the Native American girl's name?
Michelle.
Around the Michelle thing is when I would have typed all right, this dude's hair and eyebrows are ridiculous. It's getting out of control.
It's so crazy.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Eyebrows come off his fucking face.
And then I then just a little bit later typed out dinosaurs. Dinosaurs? Were there dinosaurs in the game?
Technically, Tekken 3 did have a little small character with a little small orange dinosaur character with boxing gloves named Gon. But he was orange and tiny and boxing gloves, kind of like the kangaroo.
Yeah,
Roger.
I remember the kangaroo.
Yeah, Roger and Alex have been... But Alex is like a standing
Was there also not a
thing.
bear that didn't get a shout out?
Kuma, yes.
Kuma.
Okay. There has been a Kuma in every game, another character that would be in every game if it wasn't for the fact that from Tekken 3 onwards, it's been a different bear. Yeah, the first Kuma, the Kuma from Tekkens 1 and 2 died. The Kumas, it's Heihachi's pet bear. They're like, the Kumas are Heihachi's pet bears. And it's funny because from Tekken 4 onwards, Paul's story in these games is him going. I think Paul canonically wins the tournament in Tekken 3, but Tekken 4 and onwards, he keeps running into Kuma and losing. He loses to this bear like every fucking tournament. After Tekken 3 and Tekken 8, it's funny because with Heihachi Mishima being dead, I'm putting it in quotes because I don't believe it. Fucking Raven I saw a game start with them telling us this, with Raven telling me this. The Wesley Snipes looking dude who wasn't in this movie, just his Wesley Snipes looking ass, Heihachi Mishima is dead. Then Heihachi doesn't die. Raven goes away for like 3 games. We get like Master Raven, the black lady that's like ninja stuff. And then Tekken 8, they finally bring back Wesley Snipes Raven. And his first thing he says in his character trailer is Heihachi Mishima is dead. Dude, you don't have a good track record for that kind of information. I don't believe you. But Kuma in Tekken 8 has some Heihachi moves because it learned like from Heihachi over the years, and it has the Mishima. You know how Street Fighter has the Shoryuken and Hadoken for the main characters and anyone with their fighting style? Tekken, a lot of people related to the Mishima family have some version of this move called the Electric Wind God Fist, which is like some kind of like quick uppercut that you can like do 3 times if you enter it on the precise timing and shit, and it gets better properties. Yeah, Kuma has that move now, which is hilarious. But yeah, anyway, yeah, they get to the point. Oh, I forgot. Speaking of Michelle and her hating Heihachi, when he was doing his intro to the tournament, Michelle tries to throw an axe at the dude, and he fucking grabs it with his teeth and breaks it.
Right?
He's no ordinary man, Bill. Let me tell you. No ordinary man.
And then it's just like it just brushes it. I was like, oh, this bitch is dead. No, he's just like, ha! You want to fight me? I'll be in the tower.
That's a boss ass move. Like, I'm not even gonna kill you for that. I'll see you in a couple hours. That's how little of a threat I perceive.
We should probably also mention. So at this point, Law and Jack,
Lay and Jack,
Lay and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
They're hunting for the professor.
Yeah, Dr. Boskanovich. They're hunting for him to help cure the little girl because she has some kind of degenerative issue with her sickness and stuff like that. So they're like, okay, and she gets seizures randomly. Jack also just straight up murders a guy. Like, that was about to attack Lay. Jack just comes out of the water, just boop. Dude's head splats against the wall. You save me, I save you. Okay. I guess,
Are those other Jacks?
Prototype Jacks.
Okay.
They do show up in it, and there is a prototype Jack in, I think, Tekken 2, maybe Tekken 1 as well, but with the sunglasses and the army hat and the more metal look.
Okay.
So yeah, but there are a lot of them in this one and they are presented as new prototypes of how the robot should be. And they have a big little, during their side story, they have a showdown with Jack versus a bunch of prototypes, and that was pretty cool. Eventually, Jack gets his arm injured, and it's revealed that he is a robot, and that's where we get the explanation. Also, they get in there, and they find the kangaroo, Roger.
Right.
I hope Roger comes back. I know Roger or Roger Jr. It'd probably be Roger Jr. at this point. But Roger or Roger Jr., I hope they come back. Yeah, because Tekken 5, Roger Jr. showed up in his mom's pouch.
Right.
So it's Roger Jr.'s mom with Roger Jr. like in here doing nothing. And it's just like, all right, we're just calling it Roger Jr. He's going out to save his dad, and it turns out his dad was just hiding out somewhere being a deadbeat watching videos. It's hilarious when you get into side stories of like characters that are clearly joke characters.
Oh my god.
But yeah, anyway, Nina versus Anna in the woods, and then Anna fucking dies because a dinosaur eats her. You got Kazuya versus the dinosaurs doing his shit. He fucking should have kept your mouth shut. Okay, like the movie's surprisingly brutal when it wants to be. But yeah, like we said, the movie's trying to go on. Lee's like, you beat my dinosaurs, but you can't beat me. And Heihachi's like, get the fuck out of my way. I'm trying to fight Kazuya. That's my son. And so Lee gets salty and is like, fine, then I'm gonna blow up the island. Fuck y'all don't want me. And while everybody's escaping, you know, Kazuya's fighting Heihachi. Jack sacrifices himself so the doctor that they were looking for can get away with the kid and Lei. He sacrifices himself, and also something that was more brutal than it needed to be, considering it's a fucking robot getting crushed by this door. But they're like, no, we're gonna show you the like flesh and muscles that covered his arms also getting torn and exploded by the weight.
Yeah, you in the previous scene you already showed us him getting a gash in his arm and like oil like substance coming out, but now in this scene all of a sudden the black has become red blood like liquid, just to make it yeah, like you said, like just to bring the gore up a little bit, I guess.
But yeah, Jack dies. They escape. The fucking I think a volcano explodes. Just, but and then you see another cameo from everybody having miraculously escaped to the coast of the island as Lei comes up looking for June. Like, June, where are you? And just and the character's like, it's okay, we were here too. Who do you recognize? Those are your characters. And then, yeah, we get like a time skip to time later, and it's June chilling with Kazuya. Or not June chilling with Kazuya, with Jin, her son. Because she at
Kazuya
one point had
not really in the flash forward, is he?
No. Yeah, because she does have a heart-to-heart moment where she seems like she's getting through to Kazuya because she chose him a locket of his mom or whatever, which I highly doubt. Back when they made that, they planned on having the whole twist of she's the actual reason there's a devil gene. And she's gonna hire Akuma from Street Fighter. I love fighting games, man. But yeah, shit, was there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else that you thought was funny or wanted to touch on?
No, I think we covered all of my notes. We could cover a lot of the standout moments that I could think of. I don't know the characters, so the other cameos and stuff, I'd have to leave up to you.
But yeah, you're like, yeah, Law and other characters like that. Again, they just kind of stand there and go, there, I was in the movie. Because there's a lot of characters people probably would have wanted to see do more. Like you mentioned King. Just about anybody who, if you know barely anything about Tekken, you may not know, just like you said, you may not know about the fact that the Mishimas are supposed to be the main characters and storylines, but you know the man with the fucking cat mask. That guy's a thing, and with him being a pro wrestler, he has a lot of mass appeal to people too. He's a fan favorite, so I was surprised he didn't get any shine in this movie. But
no, like I remember, I all of these people are pretty right, like I said, except for the females. Any female that was representing a video game female, I don't really recall them that well. But all of the males, I was pretty quickly like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I remember the image. And I don't remember people ever picking the Mishima family. It was always like the cop, the guy with the tiger head, the kangaroo, the bear, the guy with the mask.
The only one you picked is Jin.
Yeah.
And yeah, because in Tekken 3, Jin played like Kazuya and Heihachi from the previous game. Like, Jin was Kazuya's replacement for 3. Yeah, which is the only reason Kazuya hasn't been in every game, is because he wasn't in 3.
Those eyebrows and that hair are fucking ridiculous.
And then the little kid Jin had the same eyebrows. And grows up to have the same, like, style of hair, or a similar style of hair. I think Kazuya's gets more pointy in the games, but Jin still has the slick back.
Okay.
And Heihachi sticks with the whole bald 2 sides. So yeah, that was the Tekken movie. What did you think, Bill?
It was fine. It was fine. How
would you compare it to the other fighting game movies we've seen so far?
I would probably still put let's see. Well, yeah, and then JoJo isn't a fighting game. I would probably still put Street Fighter as my favorite, and then this, and then the other one.
Yeah. I agree with you. Based on watching these, I agree with you as well. Like, I still put Street Fighter. I think if this movie was slightly longer and just a bit more thought out or fleshed out in certain spots, it would be like on the same level as the Street Fighter one for me.
Eyebrows in shorter.
Character design. It's one of those things that gives it its character, as far as I'm concerned. It's one of those things like, yeah, I can see you, but same time, you see it for the eyebrows. Like, Tekken, the little fucking eyebrows. That's what's gonna stick with you about it. So, yeah. But it was only an hour long, which is nice if you're doing something for a review channel, but it's also more like you could get a bit more story. You could go 90 minutes.
No, yeah. Some of that could have been fleshed out a little bit.
Yeah. But aside from that, it was enjoyable enough. It was better than the particular Fatal Fury movies we watched, when we watched them. But I still give it to Street Fighter at the moment. But yeah, so that was that. So, Bill, what are we watching next week? Do you know?
Oh, yes, I do, sir. We are going to watch something that's pretty interesting. You've seen a couple of these,
all right.
But we're going to go a little bit deeper into the series. But stay on this fighting path that we've been on while we watch Rocky 4. This guy hasn't seen.
Yeah. That was the one with the dude that's not Apollo Creed. That Drago? I'm trying to remember. I don't know the movie. Obviously, I haven't seen it, but we'll see. Right. We'll figure it out. I think it's Drago. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. To paraphrase the line. Anyway, if you want to see more of our stuff, you can check it out on the channel. We also have a show every Saturday called You Don't Watch Sports. 2 guys, 3 topics, talking about some sports, help you sprinkle some information into your sports conversation. It's where you're guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube on the Whatever We Want podcast. It's a show I do with a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much. As nature intended, we talk about just that, whatever we want. And you can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in. Stop on by. I'm streaming a lot more in 2024. Bill, you got anything else you want to say to the folks? Nah? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week with Rocky 4. Adiosness.